Alright, you have to excuse my mess, but I'm in the middle of orchestrated chaos right now, creating these upper A arms. Oh, they're sitting back there. I had to move my drill out of the way. So I got the two rears, and I got a front. So to help you guys out, all I did to get this line is I simply put that on there flush, that side there. And then I turned it again the other direction to get my thickness, or not necessarily thickness, but so in the center of this little line you see right here, this is only 3/16 from here to here. This is where I want to drill a hole to put my screw in here, because these, I don't even know what to call them, but these blocks that I made to hold the upper control arm are just simply designed to lock the steering knuckle in place. You can see I've notched it intentionally for a reason that'll come up later. But this here, no, that's not carbon fiber. This, if you happen to watch the battery review, you'll recognize that. I guess some people call it upcycling. I call it repurposing. It's the same crap. I just didn't have a big enough piece to do all four. So that, speaking of those lines, so I should end up with a hole somewhere in this area. So half of that, if we were to picture this being square, I should have a hole right about here. Then we're going to screw it down, 2 screws, and then we're going to mark it with a little bit of paint right here and let it touch, lift it off, and then re-drill up here wherever that hole ends up being for our upper control arms. Now keep in mind, this may or may not apply to you. This series of videos is just to inspire you guys to be creative, to use those extra parts, and particularly this one here. I'm trying to use every part that I can without spending any extra money. In fact, I'm thinking about stealing the one more shock off my Cadillac, Operation Cadillac, or Operation Caddy Hack, if you want to check that out if you haven't already, because that one's kind of sitting and collecting dust right now. It's got a lot of oversteer issues, so I'm thinking about stealing one shock from there. But I think, even though I planned on making some sort of counter lever shocks, I think I'm going to hold off on mounting shocks just yet until I get the body, because I don't know where the nose is going to be. If I end up having a body with a longer nose, it can help determine shock placement. Ultimately, I would like to have it somewhere like that. You know, just eyeballing it, something like that. There's no need for a spring here. This is just going to contain the oil to control the dampening of this, because I'm depending on the plastic's flexibility to provide that spring action. So the oil is going to be the dampening action. So depending on my body, that might change my location of this, or I might change it to a mono shock. I'm sorry about my little girl. She's having a bad moment, it seems like. Anyway, getting a little off track, but there's what you guys are going to look for your A arms, and to simplify things. Just use your scrap pieces, man. Put them to use. That's how thick that is. That's the thickness of the piece that I used. This will also help reinforce this weakness area, because I had the notch. I had to notch this area out in here, so that this cap right here helps reinforce that anyway, so it doesn't hurt, that's for sure.